Imagine waking up one morning, and the world is silent. No cars on the road. No people walking. No birds in the sky. Just wind, and the distant sound of something dragging across the pavement. Most people would panic, but not me, because I'm a mechanic, and in a dead world, machines might be the only thing that can keep you alive. This is the story of how I survived the zombie apocalypse, with nothing but tools, engines, and pure stubbornness. It started like any other morning. I was in the garage, coffee in one hand, wrench in the other. An old diesel van was sitting on the lift. Suddenly my phone started vibrating. One message, then another, then 10 more. Emergency alerts. Unknown virus spreading rapidly. People attacking each other. Stay indoors. At first, I laughed. I thought it was some stupid internet hoax. Then I heard screaming outside. Real screaming. I walked outside the garage. And that's when I saw it. A man running. Behind him, something chasing him. But it wasn't running like a human. It was jerking, twitching, stumbling forward with unnatural speed. The man tripped, and the thing caught him. I didn't stay to watch. I ran back into the garage and locked the door. That was the moment I realized. The world was ending. By evening the entire city was chaos. Sirens everywhere, cars crashing, helicopters flying overhead. Then suddenly, nothing. The power went out, phones stopped working, and the streets became silent, except for the occasional scream. I stayed inside the garage all night. I had tools, food from the vending machine, and a solid steel door. But I knew something important. If the world had truly collapsed, fuel would run out, batteries would die, and transportation would become survival. Luckily, I had a garage full of parts. Most survivors looked for guns. I looked for engines. The next morning I began building something. Not a normal vehicle, a survival machine. The base was an old diesel van. Diesel engines are tough. They can run on almost anything if you know what you're doing. I reinforced the front with steel plates. Added a welded bumper. Removed unnecessary weight. Installed a secondary fuel tank. Then the most important modification. A roof hatch. If zombies surrounded the vehicle, I could escape through the top. 3 days later, my apocalypse vehicle was ready. But when I opened the garage door, the real nightmare began. The streets were full, not with cars, with them. Dozens, maybe hundreds, walking slowly, searching. The smell hit first. Rot, decay, death. One zombie noticed me, then another, then all of them. Their heads turned at the same time. And suddenly, they started running. I jumped into the van. Turned the key. The diesel engine roared to life. The zombies slammed against the vehicle. Hands hitting the windows. Teeth snapping. I slammed the accelerator. The reinforced bumper smashed through them. Bodies rolled across the hood. The van pushed forward, and I drove. Away from the city. Away from the nightmare. But the road ahead was even worse. The highway looked like a graveyard. Thousands of vehicles. People had tried to escape. But the traffic jam became a trap. Doors were open. Suitcases scattered everywhere. And between the cars, zombies wandered slowly. I couldn't drive through, so I did something risky. I climbed out of the van and began clearing a path, car by car, pushing them aside. hot wiring a few to move them. The entire time, watching the shadows, listening, waiting for the sound of footsteps behind me. Hours passed. Finally, there was a path. I got back in the van and continued driving. But that night, something unexpected happened. While driving through the dark forest road, I heard something. Static. Then a voice. On the radio. If anyone can hear this, survivors are gathering. North of the mountains. Safe zone. My heart started racing. For the first time since the apocalypse began. There was hope. But reaching the mountains meant one thing. Driving through the most dangerous area left on the map. A city. Completely overrun. And if the van failed there, I would never escape. The next morning I reached the city. Zombies everywhere. Thousands. Maybe more. The engine roared as I pushed the van to full speed. The reinforced bumper smashed through the first wave. Bodies flying left and right. But then, something terrible happened. The temperature gauge started climbing. The engine was overheating. Too many hits. The radiator was damaged. Steam began pouring from under the hood. The van slowed down. The zombies were getting closer. And I realized something. If the engine died, this would be the end. But mechanics never quit. I grabbed a bottle of water, poured it into the radiator, and pushed the engine one last time. The van exploded forward, through the final wave of zombies, out of the city, and into the mountains. Hours later, I saw lights in the distance. A survivor camp. Real people. Real hope. The apocalypse wasn't over, but I had made it. Because in a world full of death, sometimes the most powerful weapon isn't a gun. It's knowledge. And a good engine. If you survived this story, hit subscribe. Because next time, I'll tell you what happened inside the survivor camp. And trust me, the zombies weren't the worst thing waiting there.